Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrali sadri wa yassirli amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu Rabbi zidni ilma. We are here with another paper, that is Computer Science 047813 Paper 1, Computer Systems, and the paper is of 1 hour 45 minutes duration. You have to answer on the question paper. You have to answer all the questions. Use a dark blue or black pen for writing the answers. You can use an AG pencil for any diagrams or graphs. Write your name, center number, and candidate number in the given boxes at the top of the page. Write your answer in the given spaces. Do not use an erasable pen or correction fluid at all. Do not write on any barcodes. Calculators must not be used in the paper. The total marks for each question for the paper is 75, and the number of marks for each question or part question are given in the brackets. There is no mark awarded for using the brand names, so please refrain from using the brand names. The first question, paper 1. A flower shop has a room that has an air conditioning system. It is used to keep the room at a constant temperature for storing flowers. The owner uses a keypad to set the temperature for the room. A keypad. Tick one box to show whether a keypad is an example of an input, output, process, or storage. So which one do you think is the right answer for that? It is an input device, correct. It is an input device. Okay, now moving to the second part. The owner of the shop enters a denary number to set the temperature for the room. The denary number is converted to a binary number to be processed. The binary number is stored in a register in the air conditioning system. Give the binary number that would be stored when the denary number 24 is entered. Now this is your value 24, and you are supposed to write its equivalent denary value. So you can see this is the working space. We have written the same 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128 for the entire register of 8 bits. And in order to make the binary for 24, we simply have to turn on the bits that are 16 and 8. Because 16 and 8 makes 24, that is why the answer for 24 in binary will be, starting from the most significant bit or MSB, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, and 0, 0, 0. And 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0. And that will give you 1 out of 1. Part 2. Give the binary number that would be stored when the denary number 101 is entered. Now, just be clear, these kind of questions are a little bit tricky for you. They are saying it's a denary number. So do not get confused that what it is. It's been denary, be clear. So you simply have to find the equivalent binary value for denary number 101. So which bits should be turned on? Like, 64 and 32 makes 96. Perfect. 64 and 32 is 96. That is what we have turned on. So what are we left with is 5. So in order to make 5, I'll turn on the value 4 and the bit number that is representing 1. In this manner, the denary number 101 will be stored as 011 0 0101 0110 0101. Do not get confused. This is what the students normally do. They look at this number and they think it to be a binary number. No, it's a denary number. So either you underline or you just remember that this is the denary value. Okay, fine. Part 3. The binary number 001 0011 is stored in the register. Give the denary number that has been stored for this binary number to be stored. Now what will you do? You will simply put it in the same register, and you will be adding all those bits that are turned on. So 000 and then 100 and 11. So you can see which bits are turned on. 16 is turned on, 2 is turned on, and 1 is turned on. So simply add 16 plus 2 plus 1 and you get 19, and this is your answer 19 here. Use the working space so that in case, if for example, God forbid, you have written the answer wrong, although the working space is correct, so the examiner may give you the marks. So that is why it is always suggested that you utilize the working space no matter what the question is. Always utilize the working space because there's still a chance that you have made a mistake. So please be very cautious. Now, part 4. The binary number 001000010 is stored in the register. Give the denary number that has been entered for this binary number to be stored. Again, the same working space. 001 00010. We simply add all those binary values that are turned on. It is 32 plus 2, and 32 plus 2 is 34. So your answer 34 is written here, and in this manner, using the working space properly, efficiently, you are able to score 4 marks so easily in a very short span of time. Part C. If the air conditioning system detects an error, it displays an error code. The error code is displayed as a hexadecimal number. The binary number for each code is stored in a register. Give the binary number that is stored in the register to display the error code 51. Again, just be very cautious. Whenever you are getting such questions, always highlight. You can see for yourself. It's basically a hex value. So highlight the hex value. And you have to find the equivalent binary values. It's simply a question that deals with hexadecimal to binary conversion. And this is not 51, this is 51. So what you will do, you will still use the same process, 1248, 1248. You will find the binary for 1, that is 1000, starting from the right hand side. And then 5 is 1010, that is 4 and 1 is turned on. 4 and 1 makes 5. And this one is turned on, that is making 1. In this manner, your answer will be accurate. The another part is give the binary number that is stored in the register the same value. You are asked to give the binary number for the error code E3. Now just see for yourself, both are error codes and both are your hex values. But here error code is 51. A child may make a mistake that he thinks that it is 51, and he may make the binary for 51. Be clear, it's hex value 51, and that is why you have to utilize the same conversion technique as we have learnt, apply for each nibble. Now this is the value for E, that is your E is 14, and you are going to turn on 842 to make it 14, and 3 is 1100. In this manner, your answer will be accurate, be cautious, and you will definitely be able to score the marks. Part 3 of C. Give the hexadecimal number that will be displayed when the binary number 1 and then 6 zeros and 1 zero. So 1 and then 5 zeros and 1 zero. What will you do? You will start from the right hand side and you will make a group of 4 bits in this manner. You will do in the same manner in your exam also. The first group is made and then you can make the second group. I mean, this is what is done here. And then you can see for yourself 1000 is here. That is for 8. And the next value is your 0010, that is 2. In this manner, you can see for yourself 8, 2. This is the equivalent hex value that is stored in your uh, like in either in binary or in the hexadecimal. They both are exactly the same. The storage is going to be the same, only the screen display or it's easier to understand by the programmers. Like for example, if the same error code is shown in the form of ones and zeros, it will be difficult. And if the same error code is shown in hex value, it will be easier for the programmers to work on, to interpret, to work on. That's why we prefer to use a hex value instead of a binary value. Now, part D. If the owner of the shop wants to make the room very cold, she may need to enter a negative number, a negative denary number. The negative denary number could be represented using 2's complement. Now be very clear, handling 2's complement is again a very tricky thing. I'll talk about it a little bit. There's a video uploaded on the YouTube channel about 2's complement. So do watch it in case you have any query or any confusion regarding 2's complement. Give the 2's complement 8-bit binary integer that would be stored for the temperature -5. Show all your working. Now this is the working space given to you. Now remember, whenever it's a 2's complement and the number is a negative number, it's a signed value which is a negative value. What is the procedure? Simple. You find out the binary of the number ignoring the sign. So since the number is 5, ignoring sign, we found the binary for 5. And 5 is simply turning on 1 and 4. Second stage, stage number 2 is flip the bits. All zeros become ones and all ones become zeros. 0 becomes a 1, 0 becomes a 1, 0, 1, 0 becomes a 1, 0 becomes a 1, 1 becomes a 0, 0 becomes a 1, and 1 becomes a 0. Stage number 2, after the binary of 5 is found, we have flipped the bits and adding 1. Adding 1 to the flipped bits give you the value of 0 plus 1, a 1, 1 plus, again nothing, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. In this manner, your final answer will be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. This is your final answer. And remember, working is needed as is written here. So you have to show all the working to get 2 out of 2. I hope there is no confusion. Just a reminder, if the question says 2's complement and the number is a positive value, so there is no flipping the bits, there's no addition of 1. Just stop at this point because that is similar to the normal conversion that we have learned. So do not get confused. 2's complement is simply meant to handle the signed values. Do not get confused at all. Part E. The air conditioning system uses a temperature sensor and a microprocessor to keep the temperature of the room at a constant level. Tick one box to show whether the sensor is an example of an input, output, process, or storage. So what is it? It's definitely an input device. This is what we know. So input is the right answer. In this manner, you will be able to gain 1 out of 1 very easily. Now, the second part. The temperature sensor continuously sends analog data to the microprocessor. This data is then converted to digital. Explain how the microprocessor keeps the temperature of the room at a constant level. It's a 3-mark question. So how will you score actually? Now, half of the material is already there. So you simply need to talk about how this will be keeping the temperature at a constant level. Now, it is a controlling application. Fine. So that is why you can recall whatever we have learned regarding controlling applications. So microprocessor is going to compare the values from the sensor to the stored value. No, like stored value. Like for example, in this case, if the stored value is -5. So it will keep on comparing the current value that is sent from the sensor to the stored value. If the values do not match, the processor sends a signal to increase or decrease the temperature. Now, this is just an example. Maybe the temperature is a little higher than what is the requirement. So it will definitely perform the process of decreasing. So that is why it is going to be just some simple thing. The temperature, if the values are not matching, the processor or microprocessor is going to send a signal to either increase or decrease the temperature. But if the contrary, on the other hand, if the values are matching, there's no action taken. So this is how the temperature sensor is going to constantly, or you can say it's a sort of a constant process. It is going to send the analog data to the processor. The data will be checked repeatedly. It's matching. Is it equal? No action taken. But in case it is not matching, so it will be performing some activity of either increasing the temperature or decreasing the temperature. Okay, now, I hope that there's no confusion till now. Let's move to the next part, part F. The air conditioning system is an example of an embedded system. Explain why the air conditioning system is an embedded system. For that, you need to recall, it's a 2-mark question. So any two from the given points, it has a single or limited action or function. It is difficult to change its function. I mean, it cannot be reprogrammed. Whatever instructions are there, they are always going to be there. It has a dedicated hardware. It has a microprocessor. So if a child has written any of these 2 points, he will be gaining 2 out of 2 because he has explained the reason that why air conditioning system is an example of an embedded system. It has a dedicated function. It cannot perform any other task except for what it is meant for. Similarly, other embedded systems are devices are like toaster, microwave, oven, etc. They all are containing an embedded system because they have a set task. They do not perform any other task except for what they are designed for. Question number 2. A computer with a von Neumann architecture has a CPU, central processing unit, that carries out the fetch, decode, execute cycle or FDE cycle. Give the name of the first register that is used in the fetch part of the cycle. So fetch part, it's program counter. If a child is aware of the term program counter, that's more than good. But if he has some problem and he only remembered PC, that's perfectly okay. He only wrote PC and he will be gaining 1 out of 1. Now, first register used in fetch part, you can recall fetch, decode, execute cycle, the things that we have learned in the form of a map also we have made that map to remember. So that is what is needed here. CPU has a CU, control unit. Describe the role of CU in the CPU. What is CU doing? It sends control signals to other components using the control bus. And this is done to manage the flow of data throughout the whole CPU. It decodes an instruction using an instruction set. So any of these 3 points written in your answer will be making you eligible for 3 out of 3, for gaining 3 out of 3 here. Sending the control signals to other components so that the management of the flow of data is handled properly throughout the whole CPU, and it is there to decode an instruction using an instruction set. Give the name of the register that is part of the CU. Now, which register is a part of the CU? That is CIR or current instruction register. So if you know it, well and good. If you don't know, just write the short form and you will be able to gain 1 out of 1. You remember current instruction register? Very good. You don't remember current instruction register, so you simply remember CIR, write it, and you are eligible for 1 mark. Part C. The computer has primary storage. One example of primary storage is cache. Tick one box to show the correct statement that describes the purpose of cache. It stores important instructions. It stores the next instruction to be processed. It stores frequently used instructions. It stores instructions so that they are not lost when the power is turned off. Primary storage stores instructions so that they are not lost. Not lost is completely out of question. Stores the next instruction? No, that is not the case also. It stores important instructions or it stores frequently used instructions. So you know cache is meant to store frequently used instructions. That's why not important, frequently used, no matter important or unimportant. It is not there to decide the importance, the level of importance. It's simply there to store the frequently used instructions. And that is why for part C, the right answer is C, that is cache is storing frequently used instructions. Give one other example of primary storage. Identify the type of data your example would store. One example. So you know cache is one example, perfect. Apart from that, which are the other examples? RAM or ROM. Fine. So 1 mark will be for mentioning the name of the primary storage, that is RAM, for example. And what 1 mark is going to be for talking about the data, because they say just identify the type of data. It's a 2 mark question. All are mentioned so that you can understand there is 1 mark for example of storage, RAM, ROM, or virtual memory, and another mark for identifying the type of data that we stored there. So RAM, what is it storing? It is storing the data or the programs or software that are currently in use. Remember, data, programs, software, part of the operating system that is currently in use. While if you say ROM, if a child has written ROM, that's perfectly okay. What is it storing? It's storing the startup instructions, it's storing the BIOS, bootstrap, or firmware. So any answer out of this will be considered as a right answer because the child has written the purpose, the like what kind of data is stored in ROM. Okay, now cache, ROM and RAM, these are considered to be the main primary storage. Why virtual memory or why VM? See, what is VM? VM is storing the data that is not uh, accommodated in RAM. So since it is storing temporary data, or in other words, it is storing the data temporarily. So if a child has written VM or virtual memory for the primary storage, the examiners had considered that answer to be a right answer. Although, just be clear, when we talk about primary storage, the 3 examples that we normally quote are RAM, ROM, and cache. But just think of the application. VM virtual memory is storing not its data. It's not the hard drive's data. It's not permanent data. If RAM gets full, or you can say if there is not enough space in RAM, then the data that is present in RAM that is not in use anymore, that is like not, that is not immediately needed, that is transferred to the empty space of the hard drive, and once it is needed, the RAM is going to call it back. That is why if a child had written VM, virtual memory, this is considered to be a right answer. You can see here, pages of RAM that are not needed immediately, they are transferred to virtual memory, or data programs or software instructions that are not currently in use are again transferred or present in the virtual memory. So that is why the examiner will give you marks because you have mentioned, because the right reason, be clear, reason why VM is considered, or virtual memory is considered to be the primary storage. So that is why the child will be able to score 2 out of 2 here. I hope that there's no ambiguity. RAM, ROM cache, we talk about all the time frequently, but this VM is also considered to be a correct answer because of the application, because of the type of data it's storing. Okay. So in this context, it is going to be definitely acceptable. It's correct. Part D. The computer also has secondary storage. Write the name of the type of secondary storage for each description in the table. Each type of secondary storage may be used more than once. Now look at the description. It burns, pits and lands. Pits and lands onto the disk. So now name the type of the secondary storage. Now this is on what is very, very important, the type of secondary storage. So it will be optical. It uses control gates and flow gates, that is your solid state. NAND or NOR technology, that is solid state too. Surface of each platter is divided into tracks and sectors. So platter means magnetic, that is your hard drive. Exactly, hard drive. But now be very cautious. If a child had written hard drive, then it might not be considered as a correct answer, because they said not the name. They didn't ask you to talk about the name. They said type of secondary storage. That's why in this case, magnetic medium or magnetic medium is going to be the right answer. It has read-write arm that moves a laser across a disk. A laser. The word laser indicates it's an optical medium. Controls the flow of electrons using transistors. Using transistors, again, transistors are solid state. In this manner, you have written the right storage, secondary storage, you will be able to score, and 6 marks are going to be yours. Be a little cautious, underline the keywords the way I've done it right now for you people, and then in this manner, you can recall. I mean, whatever you have learned, that's why we keep on talking about these things, and you will never make a mistake in your answer, inshallah. Hope so that there's no ambiguity. Question number 3. Data is split into packets before it is transmitted across a network. The diagram shows a packet with 3 sections. Complete the diagram by writing the name of each section of the packet. Write an example in each section of what will be stored in that part of the packet. First section is called the header. Be clear. First section, header. What it's containing. So originators or sender's IP address, or the destination or receiver's IP address, or the packet number. So this is going to give you the mark. Fine. It's a 6-mark question. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have to give one example. I've mentioned also that if the child has written originators or sender's address, perfect IP address. If another child has written packet number, that is also correct. Another child wrote receiver's IP address, that is also correct. The fourth child wrote destination IP address, that is also correct. So just to give you an idea that whichever options are available to be written in the answer, all are written here for your help so that you can recall, remember when you are preparing for your final exam. Second section is called the payload. And you remember this is the actual data. So that is why if you say the data itself, or if you say the actual data, so that is perfectly okay. And the third section, the last one, is the trailer. And this is containing either the end of the packet notification, or it's containing error checking, like CRC, exactly. So just any example quoted, you talk about error checking data, you say end of packet notification, they all are considered to be the right answers. 3 marks for identifying the sections properly, first, second, and third, and 1 mark each for the example. And you will be gaining 6 marks, and which we have been discussing quite often. And still, if you have a query, a very small video of this topic is there. So please do watch it so that you are completely clear about it. Packets can be sent across a network using different methods of data transmission. Explain how data is transmitted in the two given methods of data transmission. And which are the two methods? It's a 4-mark question. Serial, full duplex. Now, how will you divide the marks? Serial and full duplex. So if a child has written about serial, data is sent one bit at a time over a single wire. Perfect. You will go score 2. And another 2 is going to be talking about full duplex completely. Data can be sent in both directions at the same time. Be clear. Full duplex means that data is sent in both directions at the same time. So if a child has written data can be sent in both directions, will he gain 4 out of 4? Yes, definitely not. He has missed out this important thing about full duplex, and that is at the same time. So be cautious. 4-mark means simple answer. Serial talk about what is it, and talk about full duplex, and your marks are 4 out of 4. Parallel half duplex. So parallel, what is parallel? Data is sent multiple bits at the same time down multiple wires. See, data is sent multiple bits at the same time, and different wires or multiple wires are used, and that will give you 2 out of 2. Then second set of 2 marks are going to be gained for talking about the half duplex. And what is half duplex? Data can be sent in both directions, not at the same time. Not at the same time. This will see at the same time is full duplex, and not at the same time is half duplex. In this manner, within such a scene, so easy to score. 4 for talking about serial full duplex, and similarly 4 for writing with caution about parallel half duplex, and 4 out of 4 are yours. Question number 4. A cybersecurity company specializes in security solutions that help prevent hackers being successful. Identify 2 security solutions that can be provided to help prevent hackers being successful. Like you want to provide some security solutions. Explain how each solution helps prevent hackers being successful. Now, always look at the marks. It's a 6-mark question, and they want you to explain 2 solutions. So how will you do it? What is it? 1 mark for talking about the solution, first solution, and 2 marks are going to be like, it means it's basically a 3-mark for each solution. 1 mark for identifying and 2 marks for this. 1 mark for identification and 2 marks for this. In this manner, you need to be very clear about first solution. What is the first simplest of all? Strong or complex password. And what is it? How will explain a strong or complex password? Like if it's a very a person who has never heard about strong or complex password, so what will you tell him? It requires a mixture of letters, numbers, and symbols, which is going to make it very difficult for the hackers to guess. This will give you 2 out of 2. Something like this, talking about what a strong password is, how each solution is going to prevent. So if it's a strong password or a complex password, then the hackers will not be able to guess easily, and it will only be possible if it's a mixture of letters, numbers, and special characters. If it's a long one also, exactly. If the password is too long to be guessed easily, that is going to make it strong or complex. That is why nowadays we see that a password of 6 characters or is not acceptable. If you enter a password of 4 characters, that is not acceptable. They tell you that enter it's not strong. Strong or complex password is the first and foremost solution that you can give to the people. Second is biometric. See, it requires the hacker to have biometric data to access the data, and it is very difficult to fake biometric data. See, biometric means, can we recall? Biometric means your fingerprint scanning, your voice recognition, your facial expressions, etc. So the retina scanning, these all are your biometric. And biometric remains with me. That is why it is nearly impossible to have this solution taken by the hackers at all, until and unless they have taken me as a hostage with them. So that is why biometric is going to require the hacker to have biometric data to access the data. He may take me with himself, fine. Otherwise, it is very difficult to fake. Anyone can guess the password, fine. Anyone can look at the password by shoulder surfing. He can know your passwords, but biometric is nearly impossible. Okay, now perfect. If you remember these two, that's perfectly okay. But talking about the alternates so that you can, if you are sitting for the exam, you just need to know these options also. That remember so that in case the question comes of more marks, if the question is asking for more solutions, at least you are able to answer. What else can a child write? Limiting number of attempts for password. And with this, what happens? Cannot keep repeatedly guessing a password. Stop a brute force attack being successful. Now, if I say limits are three login attempts are allowed. If three login attempts are unsuccessful, if first attempt is unsuccessful, second attempt allowed. Second is also unsuccessful. Third allowed. Still, if third is unsuccessful, I will not keep on letting the person try and try and try. It means if I limit the number of attempts, it means I am going to provide a solution for that. And that is what you encounter quite often on the mobile phones, the different accounts that you are using. You have accessed it more than a certain value, then they are going to be locked, and that is going to be limiting the number of attempts for the password. Two-step verification or two-factor authentication requires the hacker to have additional data to access the data. The data is sent to the user's registered device or account that the hacker would also need. Two-step verification, that is a very secure method. Through that, the hacker will not be able to interpret because it will be sent on my device if I've registered my device or to my email. In this manner, if the hacker has access to the email, that's a different story. Otherwise, it cannot be received by the hacker because it's belonging to me and only I will receive it. Another viable option is firewall. And how is firewall going to be providing the solution? It requires the hacker to have additional data to access the data. Data is sent to the user's register's device account that our hacker also need. See, this is how the hacker will not be able to get access to your data because you have put all your data behind a firewall. Or anti-spyware. And what is an anti-spyware doing? How can you explain anti-spyware? It is going to detect or remove spyware present on the computer. Hacker cannot use spyware to get data to discover the passwords. So this is how the solutions are mentioned. You can write down the solutions, you can write down the proper descriptions, remember the marks, and this is how you will be able to gain the marks very easily. Next part. The company also has a web page that provides information to improve people's awareness of social engineering. Describe what is meant by social engineering. Include an example of social engineering in your answer. It's a 3-mark question. So 2 marks are going to be for the description of social engineering and 1 mark is for the example. So what is social engineering? Involves manipulating or deceiving people. It is the aim is to obtain confidential or personal or valuable data. So if you have mentioned the proper description, like what is it doing? It's involving it's involving the process of manipulating the people or deceiving people, and the aim is to obtain their personal data. So that will give you 2 marks. And the example, phishing or baiting or shoulder surfing or instant messaging, that is also called smishing, or phone calls being made, that is called wishing. In this manner, any one example being quoted properly, that will give you 3 out of 3. 2 marks for the description and 1 mark for the example. Part C. The company's website uses both session cookies and persistent cookies. State one similarity between session cookies and persistent cookies. Anyone from, what is the example? They are both small text files. They both store the data about the user, like which type of data is stored, like the user's preferences. So whichever site the user is visiting. They are both stored, managed by the web browser. They are both downloaded onto a user's computer. So if a child has mentioned any of these similarities, then he will be able to score 1 mark. Just be clear, if you say store data about the users, what kind of data? You can say personal preferences, user preferences, that will give you 1 out of 1. Explain one difference between session cookies and persistent cookies. So, session cookies are temporary. They're only for the time being. Like as the name implies, session. Persistent or permanent means it is permanent. So session cookies are deleted when the web browser is closed, whereas persistent cookies are deleted by the user or they expire after a certain time period. So be clear, one difference is needed. So if you have mentioned this point, that's perfectly clear. But be clear, you need to mention the differences like this. Whereas, first mention the session cookie, what it is, deleted when the web browser is closed. Whereas, persistent cookies are deleted by the user or they expire after a certain time period. That will give you two out of two. Or a child can talk about session cookies are only stored in RAM, like temporary, whereas persistent cookies are stored in the secondary storage. Be clear, secondary storage. So you can mention a hard drive, you can mention SSDs, I'm perfectly okay. But if you mention just a general term, secondary storage, that's also okay. Or you can say session cookies are temporary, as the name implies itself, RAM, and persistent cookies are stored in secondary storage, means permanent. That is also correct. So just be clear, so simple, persistent, permanent, and session cookies are temporary, as the name implies. So that will give you 2 out of 2. Like they have covered nearly, yes, exactly, they have covered nearly all the questions. That's great. Question number 5. Text, images, and sound are represented as binary to be processed by the computer. Complete the table by writing the missing terms and descriptions about representing text, images, and sound as binary. Now, what are the terms? The term was character set. You were supposed to describe it. It stores all the characters and their unique binary values. Character set. Which is a character set? Can we recall? Exactly, great. ASCII and Unicode. So what is it actually? It is storing all the characters and their equivalent or unique binary values, unique binary values. Now, the next is the term to be written for the description, the number of samples taken each second when recording sound. So, number of sound samples taken per second is sample rate. That will give you 1 mark. Pixel, the smallest unit or part of an image. The full form is picture element, and the smallest unit or part of an image will again give you 1 mark. For resolution, what the child can write, the number of pixels that appear in an image or the number of pixels that are displayed on a screen, that is going to be resolution, or the number of pixels by the number of pixels high by the number of pixels wide, or the child can write the bit rate and the sample rate of sound. This will give him 1 out of 1. And lastly, the term is supposed to be written for the description, the number of bits used to represent a color in an image. So a child can say color depth, or maybe a child can say bit depth. So color depth is a term that we hear quite often. We have been learning it in the calculation of file size also. So that is why number of bits used to represent a color. That is color depth. In this manner, 5 marks are yours. Okay, now the same question, part B. The size of an image is 1000 bytes. Give the size of the image file in bits. The next part is the size of the sound file is 4096 megabytes. Give the size of the file in gigabytes. Now you can see there is a working space given. So let's utilize the working space. Image file is 1000 bytes. They're asking it to talk about the equivalent bits. So what we did, we know 1 byte so we have to find the value in bits. So bits is coming on the right hand side. 1 byte has 8 bits. So 1000 bytes has 8 multiplied by 1000 means 8000 bits. 8000 bits can come here. Now next part size of a sound image, sound file is 4096 megabytes. So that will be, now I have to convert maybe to GB. Megabytes to gigabytes. Now you can see B capital indicates the byte and small b indicates the bits. So what I did, megabytes was given to me and I was asked to talk about the gigabytes. So this is what we know, 1024 megabytes equals to 1 gigabytes. And this is what we have learned in the chapter. We have learned in the video is available again talking about the video. Any confusions, please do watch the video, and that will help in clearing a lot of confusions. And a lot of similar questions are there also, so you can understand how to attempt those questions also. So what we did, 1024 megabytes equals to 1 gigabytes. The simply 4096 means 4096 divided by 1024, simple math, and we got the answer for no panic. Simple, this is the multiples of 1024. 1024, then 2048, then similarly in this manner, so easy to remember. Fine. Okay, now moving to the next part, 4 gigabytes. You have written the unit, that's more than good. If you don't write still, that is okay. But it is better to write the unit also. Question number 6. A computer game is programmed to use AI, artificial intelligence, to create the movements and actions of the computer controlled characters in the game. Describe what is meant by AI. It's a 3-mark question. So, what they want the student to write: simulation of intelligent behavior by the computer. Intelligent behavior, remember, intelligence is of the humans, but we are making the computers simulate the intelligence of the humans. Collection of data and rules for using that data, a computer that has the ability to learn, a computer that has the ability to adapt, a computer that has the ability to reason or make the decisions. So this is what is the going to be best description of AI. Talking about any of these three, if a child has written, a computer has the ability to learn, a computer has the ability to adapt, a computer has the ability to make the decisions, that's perfectly okay. If you do not remember the term simulation, no worries at all. Simple, just keep it simple. Ability to learn, ability to adapt, ability to make the decisions. These are the main terms that we keep on discussing in the class. And this is something that we have been doing quite often. So if you just remember these main terminologies: ability to learn, ability to adapt, and has the ability to make the decisions, that's perfectly okay. Reason or make the decision, that will give you 3 out of 3. Second part, explain how the AI can be used to improve the movements and actions of the computer controlled characters. Can be used to improve the movements. So what can we do? It can use machine learning. It can collect data about the player's actions. It can analyze or identify patterns in the player's movements. So it can learn how the players are moving, and it will help in predicting the next movement of the player. Like, once the machine learning algorithms are working, they will keep on learning from the players movements, they will keep on improving themselves, it will keep on improving their moves. Also, it can predict what will be the next player movement. It can adapt its own movements to match the players. It can adapt its own processes. It can store successful or unsuccessful moves. It will learn the most efficient or optimal movements against a player. So this is what the AI is doing. It is improving itself. And whatever the games have been played, it will keep on noting down the movements. It will keep on keep on keeping the movements with itself. It will know which are the successful moves, which are the unsuccessful moves, and next time it will be not making a mistake at all. And it will even be identifying the patterns. So this is done to improve the performance, to improve the movements. Now, the next part, see, the computer game is programmed using a high-level language. Explain one difference between a high-level language and a low-level language. Now, high level and low level, you know very well. High level, now it's a 2-mark question, means that they want you to do the same thing. High level is written in English-like statements, while low level is written using mnemonics, or it is written in machine code. Or a child can say binary, that's perfectly okay. But again, a suggestion, go for mnemonics. That is a very good point. Go for the best answers. Again, we keep on reminding the students to go for the best answers, for the high level answers. English like statements and mnemonics. That is for high level and low level. High level language is easier to read, write, or debug. While when you talk about, whereas on the contrary, the low level language is difficult to read, difficult to write, and difficult to debug. Another option that a child can write. Another thing that a child can write is, it is machine independent, or you can say high level language programs are portable. So if you are not okay with the term this, I suggest you that you remember high level languages are portable. While low level languages are not portable, means designed for one architecture, can work on that architecture only. That is why to say it is machine dependent. See, just make it simple. High-level languages are not machine-dependent or they are portable, while low-level languages are machine-dependent or they are not portable. So do not get confused with these terminologies. Not machine-independent means it is, in other words, it is machine-dependent or it is not portable. Okay? So high-level languages are portable, means it is designed for one, can work on other. Like if it's designed for Intel, it can work on AMD. That is portability. But when we talk about low-level languages, they're not portable, means designed for the architecture, will work on that architecture only. What else can a child write? High-level languages cannot directly manipulate the hardware, while low-level languages can work or can directly manipulate the hardware. They can work on the registers. In high-level language, one line of code can perform multiple actions. So you can say one high-level language command is broken into a series of many machine code instructions. While in low level, it is one line of code performs a single action. That is another difference. So this is what you can write, or there are many others, like you can think of any others also, that's perfectly okay. If you say that, like any other thing that comes to your mind, whatever is written here, fine. I mean, it is enough, isn't it? Okay, now just one thing, what we can do, we can refer to the table where we have learned the difference between high level and low level languages, and this is really going to help you a lot. Remember, when we were learning, I told you that this is going to be very helpful in preparing a very solid answer for this topic, like high level, low level languages, or even the translators. Okay, now moving to any one point, it's a 2 mark question. So anyone from describing properly high level what's doing and low level what's doing, that will give you 2 out of 2. Part D. The programmer uses translators to translate the high level language source code into machine code. Source code is what the programmers write, and machine code is what the computers understand. That is binary code. Identify the name of the translator that would be used for each of the statements. Each name may be used more than once. So for translators, which 3 words come to our mind? Okay, fine. Compiler, interpreter, and assembler. Now, can we recall the shortcut that we have made for our own cells? Exactly, CIA. Just for ourselves, it has nothing to do with this. Compiler, C, interpreter, I, assembler, A. In this manner, we are able to remember. Translates and executes the source one line at a time. So one line at a time is an interpreter. Next one, I hope that is very simple. 1 mark is yours. Translates the source code and will not execute if and will not execute it if errors are found. It instead produces a full report of the errors in the source code. Error report generation is the job of the compiler. It is not going to execute. It will only create the error report, will show you the errors, and until and unless the errors are removed, it will not execute at all. Translates the source code and produces an executable file. Executable file is this exe file which is produced by the compiler. Stops execution of the machine code where an error is found and will resume execution of the machine code once the error is fixed. See, remember, stops execution of the machine code when error is found. It will halt and will resume. Remember, it will resume execution of the machine code once the error is fixed. So that is your interpreter. The interpreter is going to be stopping when finding an error, and once the error is removed, it will resume from the same point, and that is what an interpreter is doing. Hope that this whole paper is understood well by every one of us. Jazakallah khair Kasira for being a part of the learning journey. Hope that you have understood each and everything in today's paper attempting session. There are other papers also present in on the YouTube channel. The playlist is also available. Please go through the playlist, share with your friends and family so that they all are going to benefit from it. Take very good care of yourselves and your loved ones. May Allah bless you. May Allah help you in achieving your targets. Allah Hafiz.